Hello and welcome to the explosive weekend debate with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwa. Ladies and gentlemen, our top story, which has sparked a firestorm on social media after Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Lakshadweep promoting the tourism sector in the Union Territory. A Maldives politician and Deputy Minister have made controversial remarks on the visit. Now, Zahid Ramiz, a member of the Progressive Party of the Maldives, mocked the beaches of Lakshadweep and questioned whether India's Union Territory can match the services provided by the Maldives. He also called Indians smelly and delusional. His remark on Prime Minister Modi's visit has garnered sharp response from Indians across the spectrum, setting social media ablaze. Many have even called for a boycott of the island nation. Now, actor Akshay Kumar and Kangana Ranaut reacted sharply to the statement and said that the remarks were indeed in poor taste. Now, MP Zahid has responded to Akshay Kumar and said that his comments were in the context of India's growing influence in the country's political affairs. Now, as of now, the Maldives government has suspended 3 ministers, Miriam Shunya, Malsha and Hassan Zehan, over the matter. Now, Miriam Shunya called Prime Minister Modi a puppet of Israel in a now deleted tweet. The question remains, given the fact that India is a key power player in the defense and economy of the Maldives, what message should the Indian government send to the island nation? Moreover, is this a sign of the rising influence of China in the nation's political narratives? That's our top focus on the explosive weekend debate.
Much credence to such people, except I would say the evolutionary history of India can only be appreciated by the ones who are evolved enough in their spiritual and mental space.
And let's get to our guests on the debate. Ashok Sajjana, former diplomat, is joining us on the broadcast, as well as Rabinder Sachdev, strategic affairs expert, as well as Subhash Goyal, chairman of the National Tourism Advisory Council of the Ministry of Tourism of the Government of India. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen, on the explosive weekend debate. Ashok Sajjana, I'll come to you first. When it comes to these remarks that have come in from these politicians in the Maldives, should we just dismiss this as politicking by certain pro-China elements inside the Maldives, or is this, indicative of some bigger shift in the Maldivian way, or at least Maldivian politics, when it comes to the power play between India and China?
Well, thank you very much, Anshuman. Of course, it is a part of domestic politics. We've seen what these two sort of, lower rung ministers, deputy ministers, etc. have said. And we have seen also how Mr. Abdullah Shahid, the former foreign minister and also the former the president of the UN General Assembly, he has reacted. They have condemned these statements, and we've also seen that the Maldivian government has also suspended these 3 ministers. So, it is a part of the domestic politics, definitely. But as far as India is concerned, how we should be looking at it, India is, Maldives is too small a country. Of course, it's an important country geopolitically, its location, etc., through the sea lines of communication. That's very important. But, we have made, through our High Commission in Mali, we made our displeasure known. Action has been taken by them. I think the rest of whatever we need to do, it has to be done behind, closed doors, on the side channels. It is not something that, the Indian government or Indian officialdom needs to go to town with and criticize or condemn. The second point I'd like to make, Anshuman, is I think this truly smacks of a sense of insecurity as far as the Maldivians are concerned. The Maldivian ruling dispensation, they have just won the election, they have come. And possibly, these low-level ministers, they were trying to sort of, ingratiate themselves with the leadership, and they would thought that, if we are being very sort of, more loyal than the king, if we are being more critical of India, that would win us some brownie points and so on and so forth. So I don't think it is necessary for us to get engaged in the domestic politics, but as far as our own interests are concerned. And I think we have a large number of friends in Maldives. The Maldivian democracy is still nascent. The Maldivian democracy has still to come of age. So I think we need to keep engaging with them. As the Prime Minister met President Moizu in Dubai during the COP28 meetings, and have back channel conversations on this, that when there might be some problem, there might be some objection, but the use of this language, this appalling, that is not can be tolerated, and I'm glad that the Maldivian government has also taken note of it.
Just at the same time, Mr. Sajjan, I also want to point out that we've also defended Maldivian democracy in the past, and at the same time, we also have to note that the first diplomatic visit of the president after claiming power in November was China at the end of the day. So is this something that we need to look into? I'll come back to that. Mr. Goyal,
can I just make a very small comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned China.
Yeah.
Actually, it was to Turkey. His first visit was to Turkey, and then, of course, for COP28, he went to Dubai. But this, the big substantive visit, a long visit from tomorrow up to 12th, 5 days, 4 days, that's going to be China. And of course, China has a big footprint as far as Maldives is concerned.
Right. We'll come back to that factor also, because we need to decode that when it comes to the shifting political dynamics inside the Maldives. Mr. Goyal, I want to get your point. Something that, Indians now enjoy is the power of their wallet when it comes to the tourism sector. Something Indians have been kind of flexing a lot more powerfully globally, and primarily with the Maldives. Like 11% of the current market share when it comes to Maldivian tourism is controlled by India. Indians were the largest number of tourists to visit the Maldives. The economic power is something that Indians have a huge power play in when it comes to the Maldives, when it comes to tourism, given the fact that tourism is 30% of the GDP in Maldives. Now, when it comes to the power of the wallet, and now this new consciousness that we see among Indians when it comes to brand Bharat, do you think that there could be some significant backlash against Maldives, given the statements that have come in from these ministers and these politicians? Do you think the Aam Aadmi of India could give that backlash to the Maldives?
Yes, we will definitely give it. Incidentally, I am the chairman of the expert committee of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Aviation and Tourism, and not the Ministry of Tourism.
Right.
I'm just a member. So I would, firstly, we will tell all our members that they should stop going to Maldives. More than $1 billion were earned by Maldives during COVID. In fact, not only with the vaccines, but India had come to the rescue as far as the tourism economy is concerned, and the multiplier effect on jobs is concerned. So we should, tourism is a soft power which we should use, and I'm not saying that we should have a knee-jerk reaction and do something drastic, but an advisory which many European countries issue against India whenever they want to, although it doesn't succeed, but still they issue an advisory not to visit Kashmir, not to do this, not to do that. So we can give an advisory to our tourists not to go to Maldives. There are a lot of other options. The Lakshadweep has been promoted by the Prime Minister. Although there is lack of connectivity and there's only one flight. So we should encourage Indian carriers like SpiceJet, Indigo, Vistara, etc. to also start flights under the Udan scheme, where government gives some subsidy. And the hotels should be also given some subsidy to restart in Maldives. There are 2 resorts which are lying closed, and in Lakshadweep Island, rather than in Maldives. And then we have other options. There are a lot of other places like Andaman Nicobar Island is there, Sri Lanka is there, Mauritius is there. Yeah. So whatever, they are same in the Indian Ocean. So whatever is available in the Maldives is available in Lakshadweep also. We should start a steamer service, because it's only 22 kilometers from Cochin. We should restart the steamer service, so that people have an opportunity, and necessity is the mother invention. When tourists start going, then accommodation will also come up, and we can start homestay programs there. So we have to promote Lakshadweep in a big way. We have to send a signal to Maldives. At least we are going to tell all our members in the tourism industry that stop selling Maldives. And the Maldives arm public, the ordinary public must understand that tourism has an economic power, and India being one of the largest outbound tour operator to Maldives can exert that power and show their resentment. I mean, today under Prime Minister Modi, India is not the same India which can, tolerate things.
Absolutely.
We need to tell through Maldives, China also, that we mean business.
Right.
And no country can afford to displease India, which is now an economic power to reckon with in the world.
Absolutely, and that's a very strong reaction coming in from Mr. Goyal from the National Tourism Advisory Council, and I completely agree with you because I'm a frequent visitor to the Andamans and I've seen a sea change when it comes to the infrastructure in the Andamans, especially when it comes to something I enjoy, which is deep water diving, and the infrastructure has been completely revamped in the last 5 to 7 years, and that has given a lot of competition to those previous evergreen destinations like the Maldives. But Rabindra Sachdev, I want to bring you into the conversation. This reaction that we are getting from Mr. Goyal, that the message will be sent out through the advisory council of the tourism ministry, that some kind of advisory and some kind of
not the ministry.
Right.
Indian Chamber of Commerce.
Indian Chamber of Commerce. Sorry for that. Let's revise that.
Yeah.
From the Indian Chamber of Commerce, the message will be sent to economically kind of take action against the Maldives by promoting, Indian destinations over the Maldives. Do you think that this is something India has very easy at its disposal to take on the Maldives, and at the same time, this entire politicking that is taking place inside Maldives and the reaction that we've got, not just from common Indians but also from celebrities, do you think this unanimous kind of reaction that has exploded on social media, this has caught the Maldivians off guard as well?
Thank you so much, Ayushman, for having me. A pleasure to be with Ambassador Sajjanhar and Subhash Goyal ji. Incidentally, both of them very, very old in terms of time, very old friends, like 20, 30 years, a pleasure. And exactly to the topic. Now, a couple of things. You see, what's happening here, there are two different, let's say, tracks. One is what the government of India does, should do, will do. Our foreign policy, our diplomacy, that's one. The other track is what would the people opinion and, the arm Indian do as a result of this controversy. So these are two separate things. And as Ambassador Sajjanhar said, couple of things. You see, for us and our foreign policy, we have to maintain an equanimity, a balance. We have to look at a world in which there are no enemies. There are only two types of people, a friend or a potential friend. Even an enemy of ours tomorrow, 10 years down the line, could be a friend. We have to go with that. That's what diplomacy and experts like Ambassador Sajjanhar excel in, and that's what Minister Jaishankar and all are engaged with. But still, at the same time, I would say this controversy has presented a challenge or a headache to Indian foreign policy. We do not want this whole brouhaha becoming in such a way that Maldives ends up being more and more in the lap of China. So it's a challenge for our diplomacy, which would be conducted back doors, back channels, with whatever, elements we have. So that's on the government side. Now, what Mr. Goyal is saying, absolutely, in any case, in general, the perception of folks in India, see, Maldives has set a target for 3.5 million tourism numbers, or 3.5 million tourists by the year 2028. That's their target, from what I understand. To achieve that target, of course, they're looking at India because India is one big catchment area. With this controversy, and as the number of people kind of, think of something else other than Maldives, that number would go down and would be a challenge, will affect Maldives. On the other hand, coming back to the strategic sense, it's not only the tourism numbers. For Maldives, we are the first responder of any emergency. Be it a national emergency, be it a disaster, be it, water scarcity in Maldives in the year 2014. A strange problem in islands. Islands have a problem of drinking water. They are surrounded by sea, but that's saline water. We sent our navy and our aircrafts with bottled water. So India is like your fire station next door, which you need and which has stepped up always. So all of those factors with respect to Maldives. Now coming back to what Subhashji is saying, absolutely it will have a downside. Here I would like to, with your permission, sir, and with the interest, put forth an idea for Subhashji especially, and Ambassador Sajanar also. The last 5-6 hours this controversy has erupted, we've been thinking. At Imagine India, our little think tank, what we do is we push imagination of India. We've been thinking, why not create a reality show based in Lakshadweep? See, right now, these celebrities, Kangana, Renaud, Akshay Kumar, whoever, are saying that, okay, we'll not go to Maldives, we'll go to Lakshadweep. You know what? Why not? Let's create because you need these kind of things to drive the buzz and create the, awareness. So, reality show around this, that, okay, fine, some celebrities go to an island, spend 1 week with other people. I invite your channel to be a media partner on that. I'm taking the liberty and throwing it out as an idea, but I think it could really fly.
Absolutely.
Okay, Lakshadweep has challenges. Lakshadweep has an abysmal airport infrastructure. Sure, a charter flight could go. Subhashji would understand that, right? The issue of police clearance for Indians to go, it's our country. Let us go there. Create one charter from Bombay, one charter from Kolkata, from all east, west, north, south of India. With these celebs, do it for 3 months. You will see the spurt in the numbers for Lakshadweep. That's my thought. And Subhashji, I will take it up with you offline with your permission, sir. And thank you, Ayushman, for this platform to toss this out.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think
Sir,
given the situation, yeah, please, Mr. Goyal, please go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, but most important is accommodation. There are 2 resorts there which are lying closed. The Bangarang resort and the Agathi Island resort. These are 5-star resorts. They are lying closed after COVID because of lack of business. So what we need to do is, the low hanging fruit is that we can even position one old, cruise ship. There are a lot of old cruise ships that come to Alang for demolition. We can position one there, and we can, there is only one airline operating. If we have to have a long-term tourism there, and before we bring these film stars to promote Lakshadweep like they did with Maldives, we should, under the Udan scheme, allow our airlines to fly, and those airlines which are flying to Maldives, we should tell them, you replace to this place and we'll give you a subsidy under Udan scheme. So that scheme is there with the government of India. Right. So this way, the connectivity and infrastructure are 2 things. So this will take, let's be practical, this will take, even if we do it on war footing, will take at least 1 year. But
Absolutely.
in the meantime, we can send an advisory that stop going to Maldives. If government doesn't want to do it, we can do it on behalf of the Indian tour operators. We can do it on behalf of the Travel Agents Association, which we are individual private enterprises. I do agree that diplomatically we have, like Palmerston said, that we have no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. We have permanent interests.
Absolutely.
So diplomatically, we have to play our cards. That the government and our foreign minister and our, experts will do
Absolutely.
it. But we as private sector,
Yeah.
we need to play our part. We as Indian, patriotic Indians, we need to play a part, and we will send. I will.
And I completely agree with you, Mr. Goyal, because I'll tell you, given the spending power of, absolutely. But I need to make this point that given the spending power of the youth of the country, especially the middle class, you improve the infrastructure of any tourist destination in this country, you will have a rush over there. All it takes is an Instagram reel to fascinate people about these destinations, and people are booking tickets in minutes and booking hotels in minutes. You create that infrastructure, it will happen. India truly has that potential to counter the Maldives. But Ashok Sajjanar, I want to bring us back to the politicking and the diplomatic power play. We saw in November how it is a pro-China regime now currently in power in the Maldives. But given the backlash that this statement, these statements kind of have got on Indian social media, given the explosion of the reactions, do you think what Robin Sachdev was pointing out, what he has talked about, what India has delivered to the Maldives in the past, the reality of that kind of like trickled in at the same time, that we need to come out with an explainer, with a clarification as soon as possible, because you can't antagonize India, especially given the fact how the Indian middle class, how the Maldivian economy and defense sector is propped up by India. At the same time, given the fact that we've had union ministers not react that sharply to the statements that have come in from the Maldives, is that the right way of handling this? Because as Robin Sachdev is also pointing out, you don't want Maldives to go more into China's camp.
No, you're very right, Ayushman. You are spot on as far as the first aspect is concerned, because it is not only tourists, it's not only tourism, that is the sum and substance of the relationship between India and Maldives. We have a strategic partnership. Maldives, I think as far as India is concerned, this is the first responder to any problems. You mentioned yourself when there was a coup in Maldives, it was Indian forces which went there and restored the democratically, or restored the government, the government in its place. Also, as far as this Operation Neer in 2014 was concerned, whether it is during COVID, we are supplying under the Vaccine Mantri initiative, we supplied hundreds of thousands of vaccines to them. Also during the tsunami in 2004. So India is the only one. It is about from we are talking about Lakshadweep. So if you speak about Minicoy, from the Minicoy Islands, I think it is just 70 nautical miles to Maldives, and from our coastline, it is just about 300 nautical miles to the Maldives. So it is very close. So if there is a problem, and that is, Ayushman, a very low-lying country. We've seen that, when there is a climate change, when sea levels rise, then of course there are areas of Maldives that are going to get submerged, that are going to come underwater. When there are problems of that nature, there are countries which are thousands of kilometers, however friendly or however whatever they might say, they will not be able to come, and there will be no possibility. India is the only country which can sort of, come to it in its time of need. And I think Maldives, after this initial euphoria of having won the election, after that dies down, the reality is going to hit them hard, that there is no alternative to India, to Indian presence as far as the Maldives is concerned. And you would have noticed, this is what Mohammad Nasheed has said, this is what Abdullah Shahid has said. All these people, because they realize, they are the ones who have been in government, they realize what India has done, even as far as, right now they are saying hydrographic agreement also, we want to get out of it. But, that is something that is for the benefit and advantage of the Maldives. And I'm sure that very soon they are going to realize that India needs to keep up this equanimity, as was displayed when Prime Minister Modi met President Moizu in Dubai in December. So I think we need to keep our conversations going on, convey our messages, through the back channels to them, what we want to, draw the red lines where we need to draw the red lines, and of course at the level of the people. And I agree with, what Rabinder, the idea that he has suggested. But again, as Mr. Goyal has said, it's all going to take time, because infrastructure, it is not only accommodation, it is also what do people do when they go there.
Absolutely.
There have to be sort of, some entertainment, something of that, and that will take time. But I think if the focus is there, if we want to do that, what Rabinder says, let's do a reality show, let's do some sort of, award ceremony, a big award ceremony, so that people are coming there, to stay and, be there for some time. I think it definitely has great possibility, like you Ayushman, I have also been, recently to Andaman and, what was the Havelock Island and so on and so
Absolutely,
forth.
yeah.
And there is a transformation. And, in terms of particularly, after the G20 meeting that was held, there has been a transformation there. And, I know we can do it because I've seen all this infrastructure coming up in Delhi. We've seen this Bharat Mandapam, we've seen so much of infrastructure coming. India can do it. So I think if we put our mind to it, I'm sure there is going to be no difficulty, no problem in getting the objective that we
Absolutely, we can completely do it and send that message to the Maldives with this soft power at the end of the day. Because as you were pointing out, there was a sea change in Havelock, and all it takes is that infrastructure, and the Indian people, they will flood all these places. They will reboot their economies. They will expand the infrastructure. All it takes is the will. And in my opinion, there is no one better than Prime Minister Modi when it comes to promoting these destinations, especially in the India that we see today with the resurgent Bharat narrative, and Prime Minister Modi leading from the front when it comes to that. Thank you, Ashok Sajjanar and Ravinder Sachdev, as well as Subhash Goyal, for joining us on this very spirited debate and very informative debate surrounding this controversy with the Maldives. We're getting a piece of breaking news now. This is a statement coming in from Prime Minister Modi. After the Indian Navy rescued a pirate hijacked ship, Prime Minister Modi lauded our forces, ladies and gentlemen, said that the Navy carried out a very brave operation at a location which was around 2,000 kilometers away from the Indian coast and rescued 21 people on board. Listen in.
भारतीय नौसेना ने भी 2 दिन पहले बहुत ही साहसी ऑपरेशन को अंजाम दिया है। अरब सागर में आगे बढ़ रहे एक मर्चेंट वेसल से जैसे ही संकट में होने का संदेश मिला, भारतीय नेवी और मरीन कमांडो तेजी से एक्टिव हो गए। इस जहाज पर 21 लोग थे, जिसमें 15 भारतीय भी थे। भारत के समुद्री तट से करीब 2000 किलोमीटर दूर पहुंचकर भारतीय नौसेना ने उन सबको संकट से बाहर निकाल लिया। आपने भी वो वीडियो देखा होगा जिसमें उस जहाज के भारतीय कर्मचारी भारत माता की जयकारे लगा रहे हैं, भारत माता की जय के नारे लगा रहे हैं।
Prime Minister Modi there lauding the forces after that daring Arabian Sea rescue, ladies and gentlemen. But that's all we have to pack in on the show. Thank you for watching.